If you're sick and tired of being stuck in that cycle of losing 10 pounds and then gaining back 15, and you think the problem is simply a matter of willpower, then you might want to think again. Because a lot of people nowadays are tired people trying to do healthy things. That's because we've been told that if we drop 20 pounds, we'll finally have the energy to live our lives. But we actually have it backwards. You don't lose weight to gain energy. You become the type of person who does the things that generate energy. And then the weight has no choice but to come off. In this video, I'm going to show you how to switch your identity to a person who prioritizes energy and why that one shift makes the diet and the exercise feel like a choice rather than a chore. All right, so the first thing you need to do is to drop the idea of going on a diet and instead decide the type of person you want to become. Do you want to become a fit person? Do you want to become a person who eats healthy food and prioritizes energy? You need to make the decision right now that that's who you're going to become. So go ahead and say it to yourself right now. I'm the type of person who eats healthy and exercises because I prioritize being my healthiest and most energetic self. If this feels a little fake right now, that's okay. It's because you haven't made any choices yet to cast those votes in your favor. But now, each decision you make from now on is either casting a vote for becoming that person or casting a vote to going back to the previous version of yourself. All right, so now that you've claimed the identity for yourself, let's talk about how this changes your lifestyle. Most people think a healthy diet is about restriction, about all the things you're not allowed to have. But when you're an energetic person, the kitchen isn't a place of sacrifice. It's a place of investment. Here's the shift. You stop asking, is this food gonna make me fat? And instead, you start asking, what is the energetic payoff of this meal? Think about it like a trade. A sugary cereal or a processed snack might give you a 5-minute dopamine hit, but it charges you a massive tax. 2 hours of brain fog, a mid-afternoon crash, and a short temper. For an energetic person, that's just a bad business deal. You're trading your ability to be present and productive for a temporary state. But when your identity is tied to your energy, you start reaching for whole foods, proteins, and healthy fats. Not because the diet told you to, but because you love the way they make you feel. This is where your new identity becomes your superpower. There's a famous study that found a massive difference between saying, I can't eat that and I don't eat that. When you say I can't, you're telling your brain that you're being deprived and eventually your willpower will snap. But when you say I don't, you're stating a fact about who you are. An energetic person doesn't feel robbed when they walk past the donuts in the office. They just realize that donuts aren't compatible with the version of themselves they've decided to be. It's not a rule, it's just a reflection of your value. And look, an energetic person isn't a perfectionist. They're an energy manager. If you have a meal that makes you feel sluggish or bloated, you don't spiral and eat junk for the rest of the weekend. You just realize your batteries are low and you get back to refueling yourself with healthy food at the very next meal. Why? Because you missed the energy. You've tasted what it feels like to live at 100% and you're not willing to settle for 20% anymore. Now let's talk about movement. If your kitchen is where you protect your energy, then the gym or the trail or your living room floor is where you generate it. Most people look at exercise as a way to burn off what they ate. They see it as a punishment. But when you've claimed the identity of an energetic person, your perspective flips. You don't exercise because you hate your body. You move because you know that movement generates energy. Think of yourself like a power plant. A power plant doesn't have energy, it generates it. An energetic person knows that on the days they feel the most tired, that's actually when they need to move the most. They aren't chasing a specific number of calories burned. They're chasing that post-workout clarity. They're investing 30 minutes of effort to buy themselves 12 hours of high energy focus. If you see exercise as a way to charge your batteries rather than drain your tank, it stops being a chore you have to get through, and instead becomes a tool you're excited to use. This identity also saves you on the days you really don't feel like it. On those days the old you would say, I'm too tired to work out, I'll just skip it. But the new you, the person who prioritizes energy, knows that skipping it is exactly why you feel tired. Even if it's just a 10-minute walk or a few sets of air squats, you do it. Not because those 10 minutes are gonna transform your physique overnight, but because you're casting a vote for yourself. You're proving to yourself that you are the type of person who values their vitality. You're keeping the promise you made to yourself in the beginning of this video. Finally, an energetic person isn't just training for the mirror, they're training for life. You're building a body that can keep up with your ambitions. You're building the strength to carry the groceries in one trip, the stamina to play with your kids without getting winded, and the resilience to handle stress without breaking. You're not just working out, you're upgrading your body so you can perform at the highest possible level. All right, so we've covered the diet and the movement, but let's get to the real reason why this identity shift matters so much. You aren't doing all this just to have better stats on a fitness app. You're doing this because your energy is the fuel you need to live your best life and to show up for the people you care about the most. We've been conditioned to think that focusing on ourselves is selfish, but let's throw that idea out the window when it comes to your health. Because think about it. Who is a better version of themselves for the people they love? The person who is irritable, sluggish, and crashing from a sugar high? Or the person who has the patience, the focus, and the stamina to actually be present? Because you can't pour from an empty cup. By claiming the identity of an energetic person, you're ensuring that when your family, your friends, or your work need you, the best version of you is the one who shows up. When you prioritize energy, you start to get what I call the presence payoff. You're no longer just physically in the room while your mind is in a fog. You're actually engaged. You have the mental clarity to listen and the emotional stability to handle stress. Your new identity hasn't just changed your body, it's changed your capacity to live your life instead of just watching it go by. And here's the most incredible part of this entire shift. When you stop obsessing over the scale and you stop chasing a goal weight, and you instead focus 100% of your effort on becoming an energetic person, the weight starts to disappear anyway, because you're fueling your body with high ROI foods and because you're moving your body to generate power. The fat has no choice but to fall off. It's not a struggle, it's not a sacrifice, it's just a natural byproduct of who you become. You didn't just lose weight, you finally found the energy to live the life you were meant to live. Thanks for listening, I hope this was helpful. And if this mindset shift resonated with you, please consider hitting the like button. It really does help the channel reach more people who are tired of the old way of living. And make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications for more videos on how to master your mindset and reclaim your vitality. Now go cast that first vote for your new identity. I'll see you in the next video.